We'll be looking at the education and intersection with technology. And, I have three panelists, actually supposed to be four. Two of them are online. We have Professor Nahala Abdurrashid, the Vice Chancellor of University of Abuja. He was the former, or is the former Vice Chancellor of Kwara State University, but currently is the Vice Chancellor of University of Abuja. Professor Nala. I also have on the same panel the Vice Chancellor of Summit University of FA, Professor Musa Aibino. He was the director of CODEL, University of Federal University of Technology, Mina, but currently is the VC of Summit University of FA. If you have heard of Professor Musa Aibino. Professor Musa Aibino, are you online?
Yes, I'm online. Good day, everybody, and it's nice to be here with us on this platform. Musa Aibino here.
Thank you, Professor Aibino. I used to call him the professor of spiritual intelligence. If you have ever heard anything about spiritual intelligence, Professor Musa Aibino is. Maybe he will say something to us about that when we are done with the business of the day. Also, Mukom is there. Mukom? Okay. Mukom Tamon Akong is, he works with Afrinic. He's the head of capacity building at Afrinic. Mukom is not strange to this environment. Mukom is actually more Nigerian than, I won't talk about the other country, but, Mukom is not strange to this environment. It doesn't come very often these days, but anytime it comes to Nigeria, the first thing he looks for, pounded yam and a 40 for you to know that he's a Nigerian, true. Okay, very quickly, we will start this discussion. We have been discussing quite a bit about technology, how to improve our connectivity, how to, collaborate, data center providers, content providers, and stuff. But at this point, we want to try to see how some of these things we'll be discussing can actually be of benefit to the education system. Recently, I heard the Vice Chancellor saying that with technology, we should get to a point where if teaching stops in our higher education institutions, learning should not stop. And I'm sure one of the things that brought that up had to do with strikes for so many months, and students are just there doing nothing. But with technology, quite a number of things can be done. And even if the teachers are not in class to teach, people can continue to learn. If we are also in this space and you hear about quite a number of things with our institutions, you will also discover that one of the things that could easily solve a lot of the problems and agitation is technology. So, I will be discussing with this gentleman this afternoon. It's going to be a very quick one. I think I want to start the discussion by asking you, where are we, when we talk about our education system and technology? How much have we achieved in trying to use technology in our education system?
Okay, thanks a lot regarding your question on where we have as per technology and education in Nigeria. Let me start that I'll be addressing this issue from two ends. Number one, as users, and then number two, as contributors of technology, or that we are saddled with innovation, research, and development. So regarding the use, yes, most of our campuses, especially in Nigeria now, we now have fiber optics. In most of our campuses, we have POP, we have fiber optic, we have microwave presence, we have all those things. And also, as per the use, most of our universities or higher institutions now can now be proud of microwave link and then LMS, cloud servers, and the rest, VPS, and so on. And most of our universities can also be likened to what we basically call consumers. But that is what some think of us. Normally in the university, we are involved with majorly three things: knowledge generation, knowledge dissemination, and knowledge application. And under knowledge generation, we talk about research. So as per technology on our campuses, let's look at our contribution in the area of R&D, in the area of product development for this industry. Let me also tell you that we have a lot of research activities going on and then being funded by some agencies like NCC. We all, or some of our universities have been participating in R&D funding, especially to the area of telecommunications and the rest. So to me, on a scale of 1 to 10, as per usage and as per adoption, I can say we are around 6 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being least and 10 being the maximum score, 6. So because most of our universities now have online learning, virtual learning, cloud service, and rest. Also, on the issue of R&D contributing to that industry, on a scale of 1 to 10, I can say we are around 8. However, there is an area that is lacking, and that's the area I want to call our attention to today, is the adoption and commercialization of R&D effort in our university. On a scale of 1 to 10, I can say we are just on number 2, because most of our industries or most of the companies here, they come here and dump the technology in the country, and they domicile or put all the R&D activities outside Nigeria. So how do you want us to grow if you are just coming here, industry are just coming here to just sell? So we need to do more as per commercialization of the R&D activities and as per collaboration. It is time that we ask all our companies to start doing what is called own a university or partner with a university, so that on that scale also we can move from 2 maybe to 8. So that's what I can clearly say about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ebino. I'll come back to you. But I just got Professor Onala online now. Professor Onala, please can you unmute? Professor Onala. Okay, while we still wait for him to connect, I will go to Mukom. Mukom is not strange to the education system. Okay, let me not say that much. So probably I will start with Mukom. The same question I will go back to the Vice Chancellors with. Mukom, where do you think we are when it comes to education and technology, the intersection, and where do you think we should be looking at?
Thank you very much for that question, Professor Dedekun. I often make a very controversial statement, particularly online, and I say that I believe that the African educational system has failed this continent more than its politicians. Because the politicians come and go, but the places where we spend 8+ years preparing to become productive adults, some of these places, we use technology and methods that were created by people before we were born. So, the question is, where are we? I think we are still lagging too far behind. And the evidence, the quality of evidence can say, how many institutions in Africa or in Nigeria do you have one online course created by a Nigerian professor that's being used by students from other universities, even in Nigeria? Where can we be? To answer this question, I remember Dr. Amino, who is one of the conveners of this event. He told me an amazing statistic. If you go back to the 1980s, one of the villages that was most mentioned in scientific publications was the village of Samaro in Zaria. That's because there used to be lots of research output. There's no reason why that expertise cannot be updated, and so we can start creating content for the rest of the world from this continent. So, where should we be? Just this afternoon, so many people complained about, the skills are leaving, and there's a lack of a pipeline. If there's one institution that they have the potential, the infrastructure to solve that, it is potentially the universities. All it needs to do, speak to the guys in the industry. What skills do you need in terms of development, in terms of writing code, in terms of marketing, and update the curricula, right? So, which means that you should be updating curricula every year, not, things that you upgrade every 6 or 7 years. And I think that is where we should be. We can lead, the universities can lead, and they can do so really, really quickly. All they need to do is listen to the industry. What are the needs of the industry? And then update the curricula, and then use the internet.
Thank you, Mkom. I will not comment on that, especially when it comes to curriculum issues now, because we have vice chancellors in the room. So, Professor Nala, please. Okay. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
The first question is, where are we when it comes to technology in our education system? So I will let you answer that, but I will also add the second one to it. Where are we? What is the level of intersection of technology in the education system, and where do you think we should be, or what are we supposed to be looking at? Now, the whole idea is, even when teaching stops, learning should not stop, which means wherever people are, they should be able to continue learning. How much of technology can we put into that to ensure that that happens in our community?
Yeah, I don't know if I can come in now.
Yes,
hello?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank you for inviting me to this, and especially to such an important matter, in higher education in Nigeria. Post-pandemic, universities around the world have realized that it can no longer be the same. University must have to adjust and must have to create a situation in which we can be truly world-class, we can be truly, post-pandemic in terms of the use of technology. Because if we had been prepared before the pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic, we probably wouldn't be where we were during the pandemic. But I have to say that, surprisingly, we have not really done much better, even today. Your questions are very straight to the point. Where are we now? And I must say that we are in a still very miserable situation even now. Many universities are still not able, to prepare the way they must be in Nigeria for many reasons. Some, because, especially public universities, because of funding. I mean, many people don't know, but the truth is that federal government universities do not charge tuition of any student. It's tuition free. At most, people pay just a little money for some services. So if you look at bandwidth and how much they cost, it's obscene, believe me. I mean, if many universities should, purchase the amount of bandwidth that we need today, those such universities will go bankrupt. I mean, that is the truth. I mean, you find that majority of young people come to our universities. The population of my students at University of Abuja compared to any private university anywhere in Nigeria, I mean, it's even uncomparable. I mean, I have more than 50,000 students. Most of these private universities have 1,000, 2,000, and so on. So the bandwidth, cost is really enormous, and the difficulty of many universities to get prepared. This is becoming an issue. Secondly, manpower development. You find that the expertise that we have in our campuses is abysmal, and that is really very scary. We expect that as universities, with all that we do, we should be fully prepared in terms of the knowledge and the know-how to man the IT services, academic computing, administration computing, just helping, to deliver services, not even teaching this time around, but other services that we must deliver. So we need to do a massive training of our staff, especially those that are trainable, because my experience has always shown not trainable. You must also realize that in the next few years, 3-4 years, most of our federal universities have not been able to recruit staff. So because the option will be for me to look for, since in Nigeria there are many people who are very good, you could bring them to the university. But where government has placed a freeze on recruitment, you can only look inward to see who you can train and what you can do, and it's really very tough, at the moment. Then the policy of government. I mean, NUC still does not recognize online degrees. I know that people are talking about how many courses have been developed online, how many courses have been delivered online. We do have a policy in Nigeria that, you cannot deliver a 100% online program in terms of a degree program. This is unlike other universities around the world. What is encouraged in our universities is what we call blended learning, in which an academic staff could teach one course or, online, but teach other courses physical, or could do a blending of the same course, sometimes online, sometimes, physical, and that's acceptable. But again, we must come to this kind of policies that will encourage, a massive online activity. Post-pandemic, this must be our reality. At the University of Abuja, which is, I must say, the university that is well placed in Nigeria, we're right there at the capital city. Everybody in Nigeria finds it easy to come to us. We are at the center, but we are also like just one flight away. Whether you are coming from Port Harcourt or Lagos or Zaria, or Maiduguri or anywhere, just one flight. So we attract students from all over Nigeria. We are really the representation of the entire nation in that respect. So we understand that we must have superior, use of technology. We must reach out both locally, internationally. We must create, a very contemporary situation. I mean, after all, this is electronic age. And to be functional in electronic age, where you have all our young digital students, they are digital personalities. I call them cyber personalities. These are people who can easily operate. So we need to really move further into the 21st century in that way. So funding is an issue. Policy of government is also an issue. For us at the University of Abuja, we have developed our virtual classroom system since pandemic. and we continue now to encourage our academic staff to teach courses virtual. The last Senate meeting that we had, we actually now, made a policy that every academic staff must teach at least one of their courses virtually. If you are given 3 courses to teach in a semester, you're expected to teach at least one virtually. And that's very crucial. But then university must mobilize resources to train staff to know what to do, because I tell you, some are still very, very shy, computer shy, internet shy, technology shy, and it's tough when you have that kind of situation. So we must be all out training our academic staff to feel free and to ensure that they're delivering 21st century education, because these young people can mobilize from anywhere to find resources to understand what is going on. If you do not give them superior education that they can actually get from out there, you'll be surprised that there is no respect for what you are giving them. So we're letting them understand that it's not an option, to improve technologically for our academic staff. So we have a Center for Innovation in Teaching and Research that is constantly out there to train, and we love to collaborate. We love to work with industry in that direction. We are eager to find technology companies, IT companies, industries, and so on and so forth that can come to University of Abuja and really work with us. So in a summary, what I would say is that be it research, be it teaching, be it work with industry, be it helping communities, because part of our goal as a university is also to have direct impact with our local communities. Our secondary schools, our primary schools, how do we empower them, to operate correctly in the 21st century? Around the world, during pandemic, even primary schools were going online. I mean, a lot of things happen all over the world. In Nigeria, it may not be the same, partly because our universities too have not strengthened some of these, local organizations. And it's our duty, really, as universities to do that. I've always said that universities should cease complaining. I know that we have to complain because of funding, but we have to look for alternative funding. It cannot be government alone. But there also has to be a policy by many of these companies to stop charging exorbitantly for education. Public education is a public good. I mean, I just wonder why it is the case. If what I pay for bandwidth at University of Abuja, if any university in the US pays that much, that university will go bankrupt. I mean, they cannot pay that much. There's always this education costs, discount, whether you buy software, whether you get hardware from companies, whether you collaborate with is it Microsoft or Google or whatever. In the US, they have educational cost, which is totally below what you get if you are not a public education institution. And I'm always surprised that the opposite is the case in Nigeria. Where they want to charge you full cost, when in fact we're even universities that do not take tuition from our students. So that's the situation now. As I said, continue to train, invest in our students, invest in our staff, provide technology, provide facilities. One of the things we're doing at University of Abuja is to make sure that all over the campus we have what we call computer laboratories, so that students do not even have to bring their computers to operate on campus. They can just walk into a lab, you put in their password, the same password they use for their email, have access to the computer. They can print, they can do photocopying, they can do scanning, they can read, and they can connect anywhere. Then smart classrooms in which right in the classroom, academic staff, when they are teaching, can connect to anywhere. Take their students online, take them, to any aspects, any part of the world, in the processes of exposing them to resources and materials that are relevant to what they teach at that moment. So these are our realities, and so we do need kind of assistance in order to be able to deliver. And we don't have any choice because our students are the same global citizens that are in Nigeria today. Tomorrow they'll be in the United States. Next tomorrow they'll be in Japan. Who knows where they go with the mobility in the global century, in the global world. If we train them well, they perform well on behalf of all of us, on behalf of humanity, on behalf of the world. If we train them shabbily, they perform shabbily. And that's why we have that commitment as the University of Abuja to get some of this done. I hope I've answered your question, but if there are specific ones that I've not responded to, please let me know and I will respond.
Okay, Prof. Thank you so very much. I will soon come back to you,
Okay.
probably with my last question. So I want you to begin to give a deep thought to it. I'm going to come back to you to ask you where do you think that how much penetration of technology do you think that we should be looking at in the next 6 months, 12 months, thereabout? And how do you plan that, especially your institution is going to get there? We have in the room here, we have data center operators, we have content operators, and we have ISPs. They have this desire also. They have this need that when they want to employ staff, they want graduates that are ready for the industry, which means if those graduates must come from the tertiary institutions, then they must be exposed to quite a number of things while they are in school. So it's not just about students going to school, it's also preparing them for the outside world, preparing them for the kind of job that they want to do to ensure that they are well prepared, they have the requisite knowledge for them to be able to fit into that society. So this should inform some of the things that we do back in the schools to ensure that we don't just turn out graduates, we turn out graduates that are ready to face the challenges out there. Professor Ibino, I'm sure you are still with us. So I want you to also say very briefly, where do you think that we should be now when it comes to using technology for teaching and learning? Where do you think we should be? What should we be looking at in the next 6-12 months? Maybe we will get you back here in the room next year. What are the success stories that you want to tell us? You will be looking forward to tell us in the next 12 months.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Paul, for asking that question. But before answering, let me quickly lay this background. And I want to challenge us in this room, and I want us to take note. And I'm saying it emphatically with fact. Not most of the industry, especially the telecommunication industries, as Professor Nala mentioned, has actually failed us. You are charging us the same rate that you are charging the community. And when you decommission your equipment, where are you putting them? Don't you think that this is an avenue for you to pass the equipment to the university for capacity development? So that's number one. Number two, we need to be looking at what is called quadruple helix. Quadruple helix, where we have the industry, the academia, the government, and the society. As Professor Nala mentioned, and as the other speaker also mentioned, the only part that is missing is the industry. you are not ready to collaborate with us, you are not ready to pass your R&D to us, and you expect us to actually come and be begging. No, we need to actually work together under the quadruple helix that we have been practicing. So, and at the Federal University of Technology, Minna, and at Summit University, we have introduced what is called IIP and AIP. IIP simply means Industry Immersion Program, while AIP means Academic Immersion Program. The Academic Immersion Program will give industry experts like us in this room today opportunity to come to the university and share knowledge with us, and then Royal Academy of Engineering have been funding this, and also Industry Immersion Program, where we have lecturers and students visiting you in the industry to understand your problem and the rest. Last year or two, since 2020, we ran a pilot scheme, and I can say up till now, we have nothing less than 10 companies partnering with us. That's another one. And also, another clarification I want to provide is that most of the universities now, our curriculum, and even by NUC standard, you need to update them within a period of 5 years. And at Summit University, we have the Industry Advisory Board that participate in curriculum development, and they also even give advice on what should be added to it. And just recently at Summit University, and I'm throwing it as a challenge to us, that we have just introduced what is called honorary lecturing scheme. Honorary means that some of us in the industry can come and actually share knowledge and experience with us in the university, and using our virtual system, online classrooms and the rest. We have Google Meet, and the rest. Now to the main question. What I can assure you that we are presently looking at Summit University and also at Federal University of Technology, it is what we call industry-fitted graduates. Industry-fitted graduate. That is, we are going to be producing graduates that you don't need to train them before giving them job or after giving them job. Because once you participate in what is called our Industry Immersion Program and Academic Immersion Program and curriculum development, you will have had your say on what are those things that you are expecting in those graduates. That's number one. Number two, let me also inform us that most of our universities also have developed a lot of courses online, and they are available for certification. I share with us the one that we developed on clean energy that was funded by Royal Academy of Engineering, United Kingdom, under the Higher Education Partnership for Sub-Saharan Africa, EPSA, HEPSSA. We developed a total course, certificate course on clean energy. That is how to generate, everything you need to know about clean energy. Not only that, we have also developed one with GIZ and Central Bank of Nigeria on financial literacy, totally online, and they are open for us to actually use. And presently, we are looking for partners and rest at Summit University, and I can even say Microsoft Cloud and rest, and then Microsoft Student Advocacy. We are partnering with them on the issue of honorary lecturing scheme, and where some of our courses they may come in form of certificate courses where you need to actually take it. It may be for eight modules and this. Now to what are the expectations? Yes, thank you. Expectations let me start like this. There is need for us to totally synergize, to work together under what is called the quadruple helix. 4 of us, industry, government, academia, and the society. We cannot rely so much on foreign solution. We need a bit of local content in it. And once we work together, the issue of industry-fitted graduate will be a thing that we can produce. So the first thing we want from you, and we want you to expect from us, is what we call the realization of industry-fitted graduate. Number two, we are throwing the ball back to some of us here today, that our campuses, just like you now see banks on various campuses, there is need for you to start having your R&D or startups or offices on our various campuses, so that you will provide opportunity for internship and business growth. You have a lot of your customers there, and that's another avenue for us to work to develop a lot of startup businesses or ventures. So we have opportunity for that, and we want you to be looking out for that. And then again, your R&D is a must. As part of partial fulfillment for graduation, our students normally engage in what is called final year project. It is now time at Federal University of Technology, Minna, and at Summit University, we have introduced what is called acadopreneurship. Acadopreneurship simply means turning your academic ideas, your final year project into business or startup. So we need your participation. Bounce your problems on us and try us if you are not going to deliver and turn into business opportunities for you or solve your problem. That's another thing we want you to be looking out for. So the idea is that if you can have success rate of just 5% on yearly basis on most of our campuses, as Professor Nala mentioned, he has almost 50,000. And that means on a yearly basis, he graduates nothing less than 10,000 students. That is 10,000 business opportunities. That is 10,000 green energy or green business, that of blue ocean. So we want you, and we want you to key into that acadopreneurship, so that we shall be turning our final year project into products for you. And also part of what we want you to be doing, or we want to do with you, it is what is called adopt a school. Adopt a school. Let's adopt a school. Let's work in partnership with a school, and let's also participate in the final year project. You don't have to wait till when we graduate them before graduating them. But start participating in the process. Don't wait for the finished product. And I can assure you that all of us here, or most of us here, we are products of that system that we call Nigerian University. It is because we are managing and trying to do it. That's why when you finish and you go abroad and you get a job, after little training, based on the background or the basis that we have provided, you continue to excel. So we want you to come and participate in the process, and we want you to start now. And then for our success stories, yes, let me also share with you, so far so good. We have some companies that have bounced their products on problems on us, though under NDA, so I won't name the products and the companies. But I think in the last 7 years, they have been able to deliver to their satisfaction. And that has also generated employment opportunities in the past for our students. So they don't have to graduate even before getting that job. They get that job even while on campus. So I can assure you of that. And then two, funding. When even most universities abroad, and then most of them, companies do fund their R&D. It is time that we want our companies to institute, no matter how small, fund R&D. Let me quickly share with us, about 10 years ago, we rolled out what is called the power of small money. That is just fund the research to the tune of 200,000. And you see what we are going to come out with. And then from that, you can now invest more on your R&D. And we promise you NDA, that is non-disclosure agreement, for anything that we develop with you. So let's fund R&D in our own capacity. Summarily, the sources let me put it that number one, we want you to adopt a school. Number two, participate in the educational process. Number 3, fund R&D in our university. Number 4, co-locate on various campuses, just like the same way we have some banks on campuses now. We don't want you to just come and be selling your SIM, your data handlers on our various campuses. Come and participate. Number 5, we want you to give us opportunity to prove to you that we can deliver. And then number 6, participate in what is called IIP and AIP, Industry Immersion Program and Academic Immersion Program. Number 7, what you need to contribute might just be 10 hours in a whole year. 10 hours, we change the life of some of those students. And then that is participating in the volunteer lecturing appointment. And then number 9, participate in curriculum development. And then number 10, let's join hands together to access research grants. I can share with you and I can tell you with all, and then visit our website if you want to find out. Royal Academy have just even awarded us a research grant that we won in conjunction with 5 companies, about 4 universities and 5 companies, forming a consortium to win a research grant. So if we participate jointly, we can use that grant to solve societal problems. So let's work hand in hand and let's now adopt Education 4.0 so that we can produce what is called industry-fitted graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. It's actually very difficult to have so many professors in the room. You can't stop them when they are talking. Prof, thank you so much. I will come back to you for your final thoughts, but before I do that, I want to ask Mukom, with the knowledge that you have about technology and education, what do you think that we should be looking at probably in the next 12 months?
So thank you for that question, Professor. Now, globally, one of the biggest challenges to scale education is the idea that we need to keep classroom sizes small. But if you bring in technology, you can change this, right? If you use the right technologies, an amazing teacher can teach 1 million people. Literally, if you Google YouTube, there are people who pay that much in a stadium to watch a teacher in India solve mathematics. That is what technology can do to amplify the power of one great teacher. But let's come back here, right? One of the things we talk about that's lacking here is content. And that's why when our friend from AWS was talking about so that we can consume content, I said it's important. We also have content that we want to make available to the world. Quick question, it might surprise you, but in this country, I'm not sure there's any place that has the largest collection of classical music in the world than an old room in the library in ABU Zaria. I know because I used to spend lots of time there when I was an undergraduate student. And that library has a microfiche of almost every single newspaper in this country in the last God knows how long. Imagine what that information means in the age of big data. That is data, that is content that is just waiting to be unleashed on the internet. What about history? We have from Ahmadu Bello University to Ife to all of those big universities in Nigeria. There's a rich local history which only exists in textbooks. Imagine if the history department had a project every year to document that history, make it multimedia, and put it online. Available locally in Nigerian universities. That'd be amazing. But also in science and technology, there's lots and lots of Nigerian kids who are developing applications. There's no reason why Nigerian universities cannot also be contributing open source code to international projects, or even translating. Take, popular Wikipedia articles, make sure you have them in Nigerian languages. So the opportunity to do content is there. So there's two rooms. One, content that already exists but not on the internet. And the second one, using technology to amplify amazing teachers. Flipped classroom and skill testing. Those would be my suggestions.
Okay, thank you, Mukom. Talking about content, I know that our institution have a lot of content, but those content are just local. I'm not sure how many of them are actually looking at putting them out there for people to use. But when you talk of content, there are a lot of content. Just name it. Like 2 weeks ago, somebody on Twitter was asking for those old, I don't know what they call them in English, but they call them Akbala musics. And he was saying that those things are somewhere inside the library that Mukom was talking about. So we went looking for them. I don't know the guy. I just saw it on Twitter. And you won't believe the amount of materials that they have in some of those libraries. But they are there, and nobody even refers to them again. Okay, so I think these are some of the things that we need to use technology to put them out there for people to use. Okay, before I go back to our panelists online, do we have anybody with probably contribution or question in the audience? You want to ask or say anything to our panelists before I go back to them for their final words? Anyone? Okay. Professor Nala.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, sir. So I'm back to take answers to my question and at the same time your final words as we wrap up this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank you again, and I think that the Vice Chancellor of Summit University has really said quite substantially regarding the readiness of our universities in Nigeria, to deliver. And regarding some of the challenges that we have, the truth is that we have a lot of situation in making sure our academic, and I'm not saying everybody, but large population of them become truly 21st century. The truth is that, much as we want industry and technology to come to us, we also must go to technology. We must be able to, train them, bring them up to date, change minds. People who think they are traditionalists, they are not digital. We have to make them understand that the option of not being digital in the 21st century is very remote. I mean, you cannot really operate very well with digital children if you yourself are not digital. And I mean, there's nothing wrong putting as part of our criteria for promotion requirement of digital capacity of our academic staff so that they can perform. I mean, the truth is that we want to deliver and we want to be 21st century. We want to compete with universities all over the world because we are producing young people that are going all over the world. They are global citizens. And we cannot do this with our academic staff do not have the wherewithal. So one of the things that are problems is really capacity building. It's an enormous problem that we have, both academic staff and non-teaching. So if we can have collaborations that will enable us to change the status of our teaming academic population across universities, in University of Abuja, in particular, I would be very excited to do it. Then, obviously, having true partnership in most of these companies, not only having And that is very important. Having centers on our campus. The truth is that the laboratories that we use, some of them should be built by these technological companies because, they have in our students enormous manpower. Even if they want to create something, the students are there. We have students employment scheme on our campuses. Many of them can get cheap labor, to have students participate in a lot of services that they do. Instead of recruiting from India, which is far away from other places, we get so many Nigerians right on campus that will be able to work with you. Whatever it is that you as a technology company is supplying. So your participation, your coming to campus is actually an advantage, an enormous advantage for technology companies. But I think it is time also to begin to demand that our lecturers, set aside days to be technology days. In a week, you probably teach 3 days a week or so. Have one day in which you can go to many of these technologies. Is it Microsoft? Is it Huawei? Is it, Google? I mean, sit down with them, see what you are producing that might be useful to them. Listen to also what they're doing. Invite them to campus if they are not already on campus. So we have, as universities in Nigeria, we have enormous responsibilities to move around some of our assessment strategies so that we make it compulsory for academics to really reach out, just as we are expecting all these companies to also come in. I think our government must also be able to help us. Maybe there are some policies of government that need to change in terms of the taxation of industries, in terms of requirements for licensing to operate in Nigeria. I mean, so that universities become a crucial partner, by requirement of government for most of the companies. Because if you do that, it's going to be a win-win situation for universities, for government, for society, for those companies as well. If a company will need to go to UK to get a partner, is it not easy for that company to get one from Nigeria? Especially if they are assured that there's going to be standard, there's going to be even more, benefit, since the Nigerian student that is creating all this software is actually relevant to Nigeria. He knows the immediate problem of Nigeria and can bring in something that is most relevant. Well, I feel that, right now, what we deliver in our university system, we tend to feel that it's our property. We don't want to share it with people. So that's part of the problems. I mean, you go to Harvard, you go to MIT and others, they put all their online, programs online. You can go there and look at modules and find courses on anything. In the Nigerian university system, you find lecturers don't even want to share their phone numbers, let alone put their courses online. There are lots that we must change. And I feel that part of it is collaborating with most of these technology companies, to raise the standard, to assist many of our, staff and students to upgrade them in ways that they will understand that it's no threat. If you put your course online, if you put your course in a archive online, it does not take away your rights to those courses. If people share, your content, it doesn't mean that it's no longer your content. I mean, the truth is that global open source has created, a way in which we share globally. And we are not there yet, largely in our university system. You find it difficult to find many currently of our campuses that allow to put their course, even course descriptions online. You find many that want to resisting doing that because they think another person will just come and take away what they have written. So I feel that these companies that are, IT companies have a lot of responsibilities, whether they are Nigerians that are manning them or non-Nigerians. They must know that supporting Nigerian university system is a win-win situation, because then they will have readily available young people. What we do at the University of Abuja is that we have
a center called Internship and Linkages Services. This center works with industries, IT companies all over to ensure that every student, has opportunity for an internship. And so there are regular internship placement from 100 level to 400 level, or if you are postgraduate student, place you with internship anywhere. It may not even be locally, it could be anywhere in the world. And that is very, very compulsory right now in our university. So we think that it will enable all these students, similar to what the Summit University is doing, to have direct, readily, experience, practical experience, even while they are on campus. Then also linkages in the sense that every academic program now must have an industry partner, partner not just to support, but also to discuss the curriculum, to see what is lacking, what can be included, to have laboratories on campus as partners and share knowledge and share, research and share, producing, different kinds of, software and products that will be relevant not only to the technological company, but also to teaching and learning on campus. So I believe that more and more universities are opening up into these realities in Nigeria. But if universities are doing that, I think our IT companies must also respond. Stop charging us the exorbitant price, coming to bring your goodwill to our universities, in terms of the resources. I mean, recently, most of our universities were on strike. It's so sad that everything most our lecturers expect is government doing this, government doing that. And the truth is that there's nowhere in the world where, for public university, government can do everything. I believe that part of the problem that we have is that industries are not doing their own part of it. Lecturers are not holding industries responsible. They're not going to industry. You find people who just stay on campus, they don't go. And you are also find industries that will not come, but we need to map strategies in order to work together. So that when government put down whatever amount they can support university can also go on to generate so many other resources to complement what government is doing. We do not want forever again the situation in which our university will be locked up the way they were recently locked up, especially the public universities. The private universities are lucky; they don't have ASU, and so they don't have such headache. But believe me, it costs so much to Abuja, University of Abuja. This recent lockdown. I mean, it's not that we don't have virtual classroom; we do have, but the lecturers just refuse to teach there. I mean, that was really the reality. If they had thought, if they had, not felt that government must do all, maybe we will not be where we are today. So
thank you, sir.
That's part of the problems. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you for your thoughts. Let me take Professor Ibino. Professor Ibino, I have 2 minutes to leave this stage. Please, can you give us your final thoughts in 30 seconds? Professor Ibino, I think you are muted.
Yes, okay. On a final note, I want to use this opportunity to thank the organizer for bringing at least 3 out of the 4 entities together. That is the government, industry, academia today, but the society. But I believe the society is also here listening to us. So on a final note, I'm using this opportunity to invite all the companies here to our various campuses in Nigeria. Come participate in what we call industry-fitted graduates, not only at Summit University, but almost at our university. Start funding R&D. Start with small money, small funding, just 1,000 USD, and you will see what Nigerian students will do with 1,000 USD. Participate in what is called Industry Immersion Program an academic immersion program on our various campuses. If you don't have a place, just visit us at Summit University. I've shared my contact there. Also, I'm using this opportunity to invite you to all our universities. Participate in our honorary lecturing scheme, where you will also be given visiting appointment. You have accused us that you have been monopolizing knowledge so much that we visit more than one institution. So we are throwing the ball back to you, that it is time that you too volunteer just 10 hours. Yes, honorary lecturing. I can share with you our policy document on honorary lecturing. You can also be an honor. You can be a visiting professor.
A lot of content resides. There are so much content in the sector that we need to begin to look at them and see how we can collaborate and help them to put this content in the public domain for public consumption. So once again, thank you everyone for participating in this section. Tamon is the only one that is here physically, but we appreciate you so much for being a part of this panel. So, ladies and gentlemen, please once again, can you put your hands together for the panelists?
Thank you.
And for yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.